I like to make videos and try to give advice and help to new collectors and help you with things that you see that maybe you don't understand or don't know what they're about. And this YouTube forum allows us to do an awful lot in that way. You know, I have been collecting for 47 years, actually, to be exact. And so, over that near half century of recording, I've found some fascinating recordings and I found a lot of junk. And when I started collecting, almost everything I had was junk, but I didn't know it. There weren't many books around, there weren't many articles to help you, you didn't have an internet. You know, we didn't even have cable, you didn't have anything. Television was 4 or 5 channels, and that was it. That's when I started collecting. And, the thing is that I would go to houses and knock on doors. I was, a little, I don't know how to put it, but as a kid, I used to go to people's houses and say, hey, you got any old records you want to throw away? And I would take them. Because no one knew what to do with their 78s. They were junk. Especially in like the early 1970s, nobody really looked at this stuff with any warmth or liking. They were throwing stuff in the garbage. You'd go to the Salvation Army and you'd see lines of Victrolas, for $35. And I know I bought a couple for $25. Bought one for 10. Of course, outside horn machines, I remember seeing them. They wanted, I put an ad in the newspaper in 1972. It said, looking for outside horn machines. And the guy called me and said, I want $75 firm. Well, I wasn't home that day, and I didn't have $75. That was a lot of money. I didn't get that record machine. I don't know what it was, but the guy said it was a disc machine with horns, so Columbia or Victor or something like that. But nonetheless, I wanted to talk today about records that you may find, records that you may buy, and just to alert you about a very nice form of records to find and to put them in a proper category. This record here, you will see it has a white label. It's a Victor label. It's typed. Now, I have seen these advertised in various forms, sometimes as test pressings. That they are not. This is not a test pressing. I will do another video and show you what a test pressing is supposed to look like. What these were special order records. The Victor Talking Machine Company and later RCA into the 1930s were publishing out of circulation recordings that were no longer in the catalog. But you could make a special order and get a pressing of the recording you wanted. Now, you've got to remember that if you were doing this in like 1928 or 1932 or 35, there would be a wide variance of recordings in which you could get special pressings of. Like this is an operatic piece, and what you would do, you would pay $5 and they would make a high quality pressing. Remember, this was done on an individual basis, and it was done very, very careful with very good shellac. $5 was a hell of a lot of money. But you could get almost anything. And there was a little game that some collectors were playing even in those days, and that was that they would find a recording that was never released, but they knew what the number was going to be if it had been released, and they asked for it, and they would get quality pressings of an unreleased Victor record, which was a great rarity. But if you see these, don't shy away from them. These are great, great records. They are pressings of the original recording. You will usually see much of the information right there on the inner part of past the grooves. You know, you'll see the pressing and everything else here. On the label itself, which will be typed individually, we will have all the information you need as well. If you can find these recordings, get them. You'll always find them to be high quality and well worth being a part of your collection. There's nothing fake or phony about them. In fact, in many cases, they are far better pressings than the general release pressings that had been made earlier of the same recording. So always look for these. If you see them, buy them. They're good. And they're not test pressings. They're not junk. They are high quality recordings.